Let's get right into it. All right, so we know Nvidia had earnings, and we know that they were good. So the market is up, mostly tech stuff, and we'll start from there. But we're going to look at the indices for starters. Yesterday was a weird day. EQ bull break right off the jump. I mean, if you were looking bullish yesterday, you could have definitely snagged this higher low here on the morning with the stop under the. Well, I guess you could have put the stop underneath the low of day, but also, maybe just positioning, scaling in here, looking to get to there, or, something like that. So, like, I mean, the problem is that you probably would have been looking to get up here and you didn't get there. Like, that's always a tough spot, right? Because if you get here, it's 3 to 1, which is great. But if you try to get to the actual place, you don't quite get there. And if you get to the 5 minute chart, I don't even think you really get a way to get out, right? I mean, at this point, when the stock goes up like this, you should probably be taking profit and you should probably be selling at least some on the break of the stair step and then maybe letting the rest ride, I guess, until you lost EMA 12. That's probably not a bad idea because then you just give it all back. And when you lose EMA 12 here, you could see the candle here, which is not great. It doesn't have a lot of volume behind it. Just got to know what you use. You're not always going to be right. But you had the bull break, and then you gave it all back, all the way back down to the low pre-market, which was the other big level on the morning. Even broke the low of day. So this is an interesting scenario here, right? Like if you're looking to go long here, which is still kind of aggressive, are you looking to go long off the low of day, or are you looking to go off of the low pre-market? And I think that this level is probably more important because it's a double level, right? It's the value area low plus the pre-market low. So I think that priority over this level, even though it could bounce off this level. I think that you want to take the one that has the most confluence. It goes if it's 1v1, it's the one that's going to be happening when the most volume is happening. Um, and if there's more of this confluence, then it changes things. So now you have this big bull move up, and now you're trading sideways, teetering around the value area high of this range, and you're looking just to break this level here. And this is a big level here because this puts us back into a different area code. And what I mean by that is that it puts us back into this region here, which is back above this breakout point. So this is breakout point. We're back into all of this mix. We hold. We're back trying to get back to the highs of this level, and you could just simply see some of the levels. Like I mean, obviously up here is a little bit of a level. We see 2 wicks here, a higher open with uh, met by complete bear selling. So some heavy selling there right off the jump. So there's something here. There's a gap fill here, and then you have the all-time highs up here. So with that being said, you have to call this for what it is. It's a daily trend to the downside, and this is just a lower high. You could either use this or this, but anything compared to, let's say, the 625 level is going to be a daily lower high at this point. So that something that's still in the back of your mind, even though the momentum here is still bullish after the Nvidia earnings, which could flip the switch. But from a technical standpoint, we're looking for daily lower highs. And even from an hourly perspective, we had the bull break, we lost hourly trend here, and now we gain it back. But you still need that hourly higher low, higher high, in my opinion. So still an interesting day. Let's see if we can get more clues from somewhere else. SPY, same difference here. Daily lower high, lower low. Now anything below 684.90, call it 685, is going to be a daily lower high. Best time to be looking for that is in hourly oversold conditions, which we are approaching. So it's again, so you have two confluence points here already. You have the your EMA, right? So you have this EMA coming up. Yeah, you're above the 50 here. So you could easily see a move from the 50 to the 12, and then have trouble with this 370, a 673 level. Um, But you'll have this a moving average, and then if you go to the hourly, you'll then be in oversold, overbought condition. So that's two levels there. And if we also do a fib pull, you're looking at a little bit higher up. You'll get like a golden pocket play. So it's just that whole entire region has a lot of confluence to it. There's the golden pocket. There is clear resistance from a price action standpoint. There's a moving average, and then there's also the hourly RSI. So it really just hits on um, every point there. So it's hard not to lean bearish this morning, even with all the hype, and that kind of scares me. Um, that against everything that people are hyped and thinking about this morning, I'm on the opposite side of things. So XLF finally broke bear. Again, almost like a double top off of this level here. And then reject 200. XLF or XLV still trading super nicely. This is bullish. Trading sideways over this range is very strong. The only thing I'm wondering is if we stop out these aggressive longs here, hit this level, and then we go back. Which is always like, ugh, it shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't be that way. Like if it's trading sideways here, the market's basically telling, and it doesn't always help, but I think it's important is that the market is saying making our stand, but it doesn't mean that this level can't hold either. Definitely with terms of the moving average. So, but to watch this and say, oh, I'm not gonna go long here. Let's say you wanted to play this name. I'm not gonna go long here until I see a bear break and then the bounce back into the range because then that can just go the other way. You know what I mean? Like this is the momentum train. Like you want to be riding that. I guess that the T8 things, it becomes frustrating when you make a play like this, knowing what you know, and then it does the tricky thing, which is like, the bear break here, hits here, backtracks here, gets a lower low, no follow through straight up, you know, and then you lost money here. You didn't get in on this move because you weren't really sure, and then you had a split second to get in on this move, and it's just like it just becomes very frustrating. So I prefer to be at a level doing this, but I would still say that this is the low. It could be tested again. Reevaluate. But yeah, that one is still one that I wish I had more of a like a solid um, game plan when I see something like this of what I want to see. Because if you're saying you want the bear break, you're just going to be missing out on big moves a lot of the time. Because this is clearly a bull break over this level here, trading sideways over this level here. The Bears can't even push it back down to this level so far. Like, and that's a huge. I mean, that's huge because essentially what's happening is the Bulls are essentially not letting people like price get come back down here, so these people can stop out. Like the Bears are just not able to push price down there. So there's people who held on here that want to get out on this back test of this range, and they're like, nope. So they're just trying to like squeeze people, and then Bitcoin still weak. I have two different Bitcoin charts going on, which is very confusing to me. Like I have two very different Bitcoin charts. This one seems to be the more reliable one, as we're up against the POC. This little sideways range here. You have all this. Yeah, I guess this one's better. Anyways, struggling here. Let's go to the. Let's go to tech. So we got Google up 2%. Google had a hell of a day yesterday. Broke that EQ immediately. And you could see that it went straight up. And then it had this little bull flag. And then it went wee. And now we're back here at resistance. Definitely one of your stronger names. Please hope where its position is on the daily time frame. As for setups, I mean, we pulled all the way back here. I guess it's kind of forming another EQ up here. So, starting to create quite a wide range here. Tesla up 2%. Tesla, another weird day for Tesla. Go to the hourly chart. We can see that, yeah, they had this little like quick higher low, higher high, and no follow through. And then it held that hourly level again, which was from here. They had the bear break, no follow through, back tested, rejection, back tested. Now it's trying to get over that level up here. I have this marked on the daily. What is this? I don't know what I have marked here or why it's marked. Okay, there's an hourly level here, I believe. Okay, yeah. I can make this red. I have a high here, bull break, no follow through. You can see try to hold here too. Back test, fail, back test, fail. Then you're trying to get over it here. So you try to get over here, then you have your next markers. And this is going to be annoying for me if I don't get into this damn trade because I'm literally on this damn stream talking about how, like up here, where I say, I really believe that price is going to stop everybody out here. We're going to break bear. We're going to try to lure in the bulls. And then we're going to go ahead and complete this monthly cup and handle type of deal. And you can see that we got that. Stopped everybody out. Stopped everybody out. Then this level's, first of all, you get pushed down pretty good here on this lower high, lower low. But then you create this little hourly level here. And you get this bear break here. And there was some people looking to go short here. Got trapped. And now we're moving up. And I keep on saying when. But it's hard. I mean, like, these are spots where I probably, like right here. But this is after a hourly EQ bull break with no follow through into a pullback. Like, is that really when you want to be buying there? Like, no, not really. Not really. Not when, and then you have NVIDIA earnings to flip the switch on everything. That's the hardest part of this game, is that, like, you have to take such big risks sometimes. So you wait for the storm to pass, and now how do you get into a trade? So I manufacture some sort of setup here. If we think that price is going to be going up and away. Time frame is kind of gross, as we don't really, you can't really call this a daily high or low. Hourly bouncing. I mean, this, oh boy, I don't like this at all. This is tough because the broader market is still set for a pullback, at least an hourly pullback. Looking for a daily lower high. At a confluence zone. Like, it's an area where you have to be smart. And then the very next thought is a FOMO thought. What happens if it doesn't happen? What happens if it breaks through that and then it keeps on going up? Well, then you either have to make a trade based off of that, which is super aggressive and highly likely to get stopped out because you're going with momentum, or you just are okay missing out on that, and your plan is to look for a quick little daily higher low because we did bounce to the golden pocket, and the stock's gonna, hold off monthly consolidation again. I'm not really keen on being overly aggressive. I don't like it, but we do know that momentum is with the bulls at the moment, and and for at least QQQ, it has about $3 to the upside, and it kind of lines up with, you know Tesla here, where it does have sort of $5 to the upside, which is only about a percent, as it's looking to push to that level now. And it's kind of a not even a real level. It's just like, um, it's just a weekly range. That's a level of interest type of deal. Um, but Tesla's rocking right now. Do we have job numbers? We have something at 8:30, I believe. Let's take a look. Thursday, November 20th. We have average hourly earnings, non-farm payroll at 8:30, unemployment rate at 8:30. Okay, so we have a big thing at 8:30. Existing home sales at 10. Some Fed meetings, and that's basically that. Whew. So we have Tesla on the list. I also have some others on the list too. But Tesla is definitely one that we want to be watching for today. It's just not very clear of what I exactly want to see. We did play MP yesterday for a small win. I had some I had some issues with Tesla yesterday with the new Fidelity account. It kind of screwed me up. Where was the trade? Where was the trade? It was huh. I don't remember. I think it was right here. Value area low. We're looking for 15-minute high or low off of the 15-minute EMA 12. Waited for the bounce, got it on the higher low, and then ended up getting out somewhere around here, somewhere in this chunk, I believe. I have to double check. Where we were on? We were on Tesla, so we're moving down from Tesla to Amazon. Amazon. Amazon with a nice gap up open. I mean, are you willing to buy Amazon here in the middle of nowhere? No, I don't like that. You had a nice wick here, some buying, but again, if Nvidia earnings was bad, you'd be down here. So it's a coin flip, which again, it helps to have some longs, like some long-term stuff that you're not selling. That way you don't get complete FOMO. I used to have like just nothing but cash after every day for the most part. Definitely on a spot like when you have NVIDIA earnings. Now I have some longs. They were reduced significantly as of recent, um, which helped with this big pullback, which was nice. But I still have some longs, and because of that, it doesn't like make me go like so much FOMO here. Like, oh my god, I got to take it. Like you take a big risk here because you want some action, and then it turns on. You don't having a long term portfolio does help for sure, even if it's just a small amount, because it just prevents you from like feeling the full load of the FOMO. You can embrace it a little bit more, have a little bit more optimism with, okay, cool, it's up, not that bad. Could have made more money, but you don't feel it as much, which is good because we're human. We're always going to feel. So daily lower high, most likely scenario. A lot of room to the upside, not a lot of resistance created here. Maybe a few hourly levels, but no dailies. I mean, there's a few indecision candles here too, so I'm assuming there's some hourly stuff right around there. But overall, we're back into this weekly range, right? This is the weekly range. This was the break. Now we're back into it. Price wants lows and then reevaluate. Bears want turn this thing on its head and start finding new areas to attack. Now that they survived this, they have new life. They were like, oh, crap, this sucks. And then they got new life, and now they're getting rejuvenated again. But one of the weaker names here. But it does have a lot of room, though. I mean, like, maybe these are the names that kinda go off today. I don't have a lot of experience with this, even though I've been trading for a few years now. I don't know. Usually, the laggards are when, like, the whole entire market's euphoric, and you find, like, the bottom of the barrels and they go up. Like, if it has a short-term bullish correlation, then maybe you could find Amazon today and then look for just, like, the hourly levels. But it is a gap up open, and gap up rules do apply, so, I mean, keeping it simple, right? Microsoft, this was a trade I took yesterday as well. I was discussing this with AI. Um, I don't know, like, I didn't love the trade, but I understood it. I'll give you guys a glimpse. It was right here. So as QQQ had a big move up and it was starting to pull back, and QQQ ended up passing a spot where I was like, okay, like now it's weak. It didn't really hold its the breakout point of the hourly EQ. It started to fall back into it. So at that point, I'm saying to myself, okay, this one is clearly weaker because it's at the low of day here, as QQQ is still right around here. So I'm saying to myself, okay, look at this little higher highs, no follow through. It has the feel of a bear flag here. And if I think that the market's going to stay weak for the rest of the day, then I think that this is a really good short. So I ended up shorting it. Now, again, I don't like trend lines. I don't really like trend lines, but again, I did that's what makes me feel uncomfortable is that it was a little bit of like this. So I ended up getting in on the break here. I had the break of this structure here and then the close below the trend line. And at that point, I thought that was enough for me um to go short here. Now the issue is that I wasn't sure if I wanted my stop to go here with wiggle room or up here. Now, technically speaking, it needs to go up here with a little bit of wiggle room. And I decided to put it here with a little bit of wiggle room. Now, I didn't get stopped out by like 10 cents, but me putting it there was just me being a cheapskate. More of like trying to have a sniper position, and it just doesn't have the confluence there for it. I need to have like multiple confluence levels that I use personally, and it was just me being cheap. Um, So I got in like right around here, and my stop was at like 26, something like that, because I had the half of a buffer, half of ATR buffer, and I ended up taking it down. I'm not even sure. I didn't hold it long enough because I wasn't comfortable, so it wasn't a big trade. But the way it should have been was, so I know, so the most aggressive way you could do it is you could scale in on a higher high with no follow through, but in reality there was only one higher high with no follow through. There wasn't like 3 that you would usually see. So this would have been hard to get into, and that's the most aggressive trade. And I know that Dan the Chartman gets in that way. He'll get in here. He'll like get in here on a higher high, and then he'll sell some down here, and then he'll look for a higher high and sell some down here. So he probably would have had a half position here, which is fine. But for me, just looked side like after this happened, like, and I wouldn't have been ready to take this trade until it got to here. So that's the problem. So it's like I would have liked another higher high. It never happened with no follow through. Then I might have taken an aggressive long there, maybe, but I didn't see this until right around here. So I'm saying to myself, okay, looks sort of weak. So without the higher high, the only play you have two other plays to trade, right? You either can play the break, or you can play the break and then a retest. And that's what I should have done, because I don't really like playing breaks. I think playing breaks makes me uncomfortable because the RR just absolutely sucks. So if you get in here and you're supposed to have your stop up here with a little bit of wiggle room, you need to get way down here for a 2 to 1, which would have hit. But there was also another level like right here from the low. So this was a level that I had to get through, which you see it had some issues with. But if you get in here, if you break and you say, okay, that's what I want, the market's weak, you get this little pullback. You're obviously not going to get in perfectly here, but you can get in better than this spot here. So maybe you get in here with your stop above there. You save a little, and there's a chance that you don't get this. And I watched a video a couple months ago where it's like you could get in a small position here and then add your full position here and then put your stop there. It's kind of like the whole there's a support level here. Price breaks down, pops back up. You could get some in here and the rest in here with a stop here, or you could just get all here, or you could wait for all here. But you might miss out on that. So it's a way to maybe stay in the game a little bit. But for me, it's never comfortable in trades where I'm buying breaks because I've been screwed by them so badly. This is the kind of thing you have to be sure of what direction you're looking at and be confident with, because you could say the trend lines can mess you up here and say, oh, look, it broke the trend line. Now it's closed back above the trend line. But it's like, I mean, this could very easily be a bear break with no follow through, right? But that's the game. That's the game. You have to have, like, it's gonna happen where it's gonna do that, and then it's gonna stop you out. But you just have to be confident in which way you're looking and why, and then just go with it. You can't change your mind halfway through. And I sometimes do bear break. So break, okay, you got the break, nice. Looking for a little bit of a back test. You know where your stop needs to go, not here. Um, and those are the adjustments that I'm making. I'm a bit too cheap. Meta. Oh, Meta's giving us this little capitulation pattern on the 5 minute time frame. And it's giving us that's not a cup in hand. Yeah. Is now what is this? Is this now the 4 hour? So the hourly one that I was looking at now turns into a 4 hour. Is that what happened? With a little bit of a bull break here. So a 4 hour channel. There's definitely some capitulation here. That looks like capitulation to me. Ooh. I've been trying to get a meta for a while now, man. Gap up open. Same thing as every other name. This is obviously a little bit of a no change level right here. But I think the bigger level is up here, and you have the moving average right there. Let's see how much we pulled back on the a little bit more than the golden pocket, slightly. I sometimes fall in love with stocks like this, and then I get myself into so much trouble. Market move just a little bit. Volume has been decreasing on the way down here on the weekly, though. On the daily, it's been kind of standstill. Ugh, these days like today suck. They suck because you want to be like if you're being the patient trader, you're waiting for the gap to fill. Right? You're waiting for the pullback to gap to fill, and then when it gets there, you're just like, "Oh, well, is it gonna fucking go beneath it?" And yada yada yada. So you really just want to like maybe scale in and say, "I'm willing to lose $100 on this trade, or 200 or $300 on this trade," with using money because if you don't want to just use this level, the 595.33, it's just a price point level. Does it have some correlation? I mean, pre-market low, sure. You can't really use the overnight low because it's way down here. There's a little bit of sideways action here that broke bear no follow through and back tested. So this is kind of a level right here. Is there an hourly level here? I mean, the hourly higher low is right there. I mean, it kind of has like a little bit of a cup and handle feel to it, but again, it's at the bottom of a trend. It's more of an upward trend. So this name, boy, these are tough, man. These are real tough. I mean, Meta still has a lot of. I mean, like realistically, do I like what am I expecting? A monthly lower high? What would be the ultimate win on this trade? Let's see. Ultimate win on this trade would be 690. I guess 90 to 700 would be just an amazing trade. This would be very early into because I mean honestly, if you want something like this, rejection here, slight pullback, there you go. There's your head and shoulders, and you're making your way up to 690, which would then be a perfect measured move to that level. So you want to be a trader. Meta's interesting. But we cannot forget that most likely scenario is daily lower high on indices. But is Nvidia earnings enough to throw TA out the window? That's a fucking great question. That's a great question. QQQ is actually going up to that level now. So QQQ's been. I wonder if Tesla's doing its thing too. It's trying. All right, we're at Nvidia now. Nvidia, people are going to be licking their freaking chops on this one, eh? NVIDIA, big fans of The Fray is NVIDIA. Their favorite song is How to Save a Life because holy smokes, you have this battle at the 50-day, big move up, which really sucks because I was long on this stock on this day and I sold it like a puss. But you have this double top into a pullback, come all the way back down to the battleground, and you hold. You actually break the value area low with no follow through. Um, and then you go. It had that deviation set up here too. Um, Deviation is best on both sides of ranges. That includes these levels too. So you have this daily lower high. They try to set a quick one here. They fail. They come back down. Boom, a little bit of a move here, back down again. So when you have this big move up, inside bar and back down again, that's a bad look. So yesterday they tried to hold on here. As you can see, price opened, back tested the value area high, and it was sort of correlated with the open of this day, but still a tough trade. And then it goes up, and then you have the good earnings at 5%. So now what? Now what with Nvidia? Well, clearly this is a level. We're over the 9-day, or sorry, the 12 EMA. I got rid of the 9-day. The 12 is just keep it simple on every time frame. So definitely a level here. I guess you can call this a little level here. I'm going to put a little bit of a red one here, just because this is a level where the bulls try to do a quick little higher low, at a gap up open, and it failed. So when you gap up and then you met with, a bear push, and then it ends up getting this kind of follow through, I think that it's at least noteworthy. Um, and then you're gonna get there. And then once you get there, it becomes a little bit interesting because you do have this hourly range. And the reason I have this hourly range circled here is because it's just the highest move, all-time high, the lowest, and then it gets back to all-time high. You get a little low here, all-time high, you battle here, you break down, you back test. So this whole entire range is important. It doesn't look like that on the daily because the daily looks like just like a little bit of a double top, etc. But they want to get into that range. So getting into that range is sort of a no change level, in my opinion. Um, so it's like if they can get back into this range, then we start to talk about, things are going to get, I mean, it's red for a reason, right? This is where there's going to be some bloodshed on both sides. And the person who sheds the least amount of blood will end up on either up here or down here. So this is war up here. But the war doesn't really start. This is all just like the battle. This is the war. This was the war. This is a war here. War zone. This is a war zone. So you get back in here, you battle, you battle, you battle, 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 battle. Maybe you get a break, and then you start to all-time highs, and then euphoria starts again. But once again, there's a chance that since this is a bottom here, we could reject here. You could get in here with a little deviation, back test, boom, stuff like that. So deviation plays around these areas are definitely interesting. As for the hourly time frame, shoot straight up here. This could have been a long play if you're looking to play earnings. Again, big move up, double bottom at the low of day plus the value area high if you trust your levels. Sometimes I have a tough time trusting these levels because I don't know if they're perfect or not, but they could be off a little bit sometimes. So you want to give it a little bit of a zone. And now you see we're having a battle right here at this little level here, which is I'm not really that surprised. But I mean, if they fail this level, then we're talking about just looking for a higher low, and you could use your moving averages, which is one is right here, and then if that doesn't hold, Then you can look for fib levels as well. So let's try to find like the most confluence levels because those are the ones where you can potentially use sniper entries. So there are none. I mean, right, maybe here, right? This little high or low here, the high of structure here with the golden pocket. So maybe 188 is a good level, unless you're looking to play the sideways range bullish. So I would say that's probably these are probably the levels here. So 188, and then you got um, so structure plus GP hourly higher low scout. Okay, so that's a level. And then also you have this little range here. So it's the high. We can zoom in here. Let's zoom in here to the 5 minute. Keep it simple, right? This is the highest move that price was able to push. Then you have this pullback here, the lowest that they can push, and then you have your range. And we're going to lighten this up a lot. So we need to break out of that range. Really not much left up to the upside, right? Because if you break this range, then you run right into 200, which is psychological. What is going to make this 200? 200 psychological right there, which is an interesting level. 200 to 202 is a big level. So you could make a case here, but I wouldn't go long here. I mean, we're having a little EQ inside of this range. I honestly would be looking to go long. I'd rather go long here because this still keeps an hourly bull flag. So I'd rather go long here. Maybe see the right side of the V here. Get in here. Stop under here. Look to get to 200. That. I think that's reasonable. If that doesn't set up, then I'm not really interested. Am I interested into a short? Maybe, but not on NVIDIA. Not on semis. Let's look at PLTR. I want to keep this chart up though. So let's go back to here. So we have Tesla and NVIDIA. Let's look at PLTR. Geez, I drank this much water already. PLTR is up 4%. It's right at this level here. The stock's a little bit hard to read. And I do not like the way that, I mean, hey, look at that though. I mean, talking about patterns, right? But I mean, let's be honest. This was a pattern. It broke bull. I don't give a hell. I don't give a crap who you are. This is the pattern. Trend traders will be like, oh, well, it's this now. But no, the pattern was this: rejection, lower low, bull break, failure, back into the range, touches the low, not good. At that point, you just erase the line here, right? Because it failed. Once it's back into the range here, in my opinion, it's a failure. So I think that that's when you just take it off. Because then you get, because it will confuse you. It will confuse you. Because it's like, oh, now it's back above that trend line. And it's like, no, you're using trend lines wrong. And that happens, that's what my brain does a lot of the time. But if you erase it, then it's like, okay, back in the range. What's most likely scenario here? Hourly lower high, for sure. Stop above here, or sniper stop here. Then you get the lower low, then you get the move. So once, like you can use the trend, like my problem is I use the trend line, and then I'll continue to use it even though it doesn't work. So I'll be like, oh, bear break, okay, that would be the play to go long. It fails. Once that fails, I still have it here. So then I'm like, oh, double bottom, and now we're back over the level. Oh, snap. Maybe it's going to go to the moon. And it's like, no, this is gone. It's gone. It's done. Once the move fails, it's done. It's like it should be like the rule should, I mean, I can make a rule. I can make a rule right now with trend line hard rule. This is the hard rule. Once trend line price plus trend line fail on first go, it gets erased from chart and we go back to most likely scenario. One adjustment and only adjustment would be to look for a pattern on a higher time frame. And the reason I say that is because sometimes a 5-minute EQ will break bare, no follow through, and then it'll get sideways again. And if you go to the 15-minute, you'll see a very clean 15-minute EQ. So you just cannot keep on attaching the same trend lines on that same time frame. And that's something that I do a lot. And maybe that adjustment will help me with not falling into that trend line trap too much. Same thing with the meta trade. Like if we did that with the meta trade, let's just do an example. It was Meta. Oh no, it was Microsoft? Microsoft. Okay, here's your trend line. There's your trend line. A break and close under the trend line. As soon as that happens, this pattern is complete. The trend line is complete. Done. So now what happens? Okay, you could either go. It could either fall. It could be a fake out, which then could be maybe a 15-minute type of pattern. But once you get, so there you go. Comes up here and hits this level and then stops you out and then goes lower, well, then it's probably a 15-minute chart, and then maybe you can look to get back in. But knowing that, maybe you put your stop a little bit higher up if you get on this lower high. If you get down here, you really can't afford to do that. All right, we're at Apple. Yeah, I'm not interested in Apple. How's MP doing today? All right. I do want to look at some. We know that Nvidia went nuts, but I want to see some of these other sectors how they're doing. Oh, sorry. These other semiconductors. AVGO up big. That would have been a very aggressive play. Yeah. AMD showing less strength, not even a gap up here. That's interesting. That's interesting. Hmm. Don't really want to be going. Is Nvidia? I mean, hmm. No gap up there. Big gap up here. CRM gross. Okay, not much going on there. Bitcoin still. You see how like the other chart is different here? I have this sideways range, this sideways range. I think this is kind of this is probably wrong because on my other one I have this guy as the main one because this is the gatekeeper to like this whole thing, and then it was keeping price down here, so like it was like really this gatekeeper, but then this was the new gatekeeper. So no, I actually like this better because this was the gatekeeper, and then this was the new gatekeeper of all this. So I actually like this one better. I like this one better. This gets erased. This gets replaced by this guy. All this price action that happened here, makes sense. And then if this breaks down, you have all this down to this. You could do this, but this was the move down. The highest price can move up. There's the battle, and then we crack. So yeah, I like this one much better. And as you can see, we are failing. We're still failing to get above the valley area high here. You can see we battled the POC, failed. came back down, broke, tried to get back over, tried to get back over, tried to get back over, not happening. Even though the bulls, there is something here. So I guess the bulls are trying to play off of this level here. So this multi high right there. Bulls are trying to play off of this level here, but it's not a big level. It's just a price point. I mean, it does meet clear multi touches of a level. I mean, it does qualify as a support, a resistance that's now could be support because this was a level that qualifies. So I should give it a little bit more credit because I had one, and I mean, like, not really though, right? Because this is all just one tap. You really need to pull back and then a retap. So you have the one tap here, two taps here. It's a small level. It's not the biggest level. I don't want to put too much weight on it. This one has much more volume into it. So I don't like the bull play here. I mean, I bet it's up 2%. Look at some of the energy. CCJ up. Vistra up. Vistra is getting interesting. Vistra is getting interesting. Bounced off the 200 day after failing, backed off the 200 day. Still had to get above this though. If Vistra can bounce and then make a higher low off that level, I'd be interested. So you get your big daily lower high. Look for the daily higher low, most likely scenario. Potentially doing some sort of inverse head and shoulders, and then having this deviation here that is on the outside of a range. So there's your bear break, there's your deviation. Here's your daily lower high, higher low, and then there you go. So keep an eye on that for a long-term play. CEG up pretty nicely. So on and so forth. So on and so forth. CRCL. So I had BMNR, UNH. Oh, did we look at quantum? How's quantum doing? 3%. Nah. I mean, QBT had a big day. It's a pretty decent day yesterday. Well, it was 2 days ago. Sorry. Yeah, just doesn't seem to have the hype anymore. So don't want to play that too much. Um, all right, we're looking at UNH. So BMNR, which is Ethereum, is up 5%, and I believe it's bouncing right off its 200 day. It is. But I probably should be looking at Ethereum. I have too many tabs open. Oh, that's why. Ethereum, Coinbase. Why did it not register? Okay, it's not registering now. So Ethereum is under the 200 day, but it is coming into a very clear zone. Boy, this was tricky. Bull break, a follow through, bear break. There's your deviation. Very, very tough with the big stop loss. So that's why they made this new level to play off of. Big move up. And now we're attacking this range here. Hate when these overlap. Come on now. The problem is that this level right here, this little deviation level here, can be looked at as a support level, even though it's a junky one. This is the meat and potatoes right here. How's the monthly looking on this chart? Monthly higher low scout. So you had this double top here, bull break. So the problem with this is that it does have this little bit of a, eh, it's weird because it's not really an EQ though. But it did have this bull break. Now you're back. So I mean, ideally you'd want to be back over here if you want to feel very confident as a bull. But you are looking for a monthly higher low. And it's right at the 50-day too. You have a lot of confluence here with the 50-day and that daily range. So like the same reason you look for monthly higher low, you look for daily oversold conditions. It's kind of like the same thing, looking for a monthly higher low and looking for some sort of daily sideways institutional range here. Plus, you have the 50-day on the month, the 50 monthly moving average. There's a lot to like here. And I think that this is actually something that I might look into once it gets there. It's not there yet, though. And if I'm going to miss it, I'm going to miss it. But I can't play this without. And then we have UNH. UNH is not really moving much. It did tap this nice little level here, which is not a surprise. You go sideways here, you go all the way back up. You kind of have this like little rising wedge type deal here. So this is a good example. This is a good example of that Microsoft trade, right? But when you try to be patient and it doesn't work out. So let's get rid of all this stuff and give it a nice example because I don't really know how this that would have been a good short off of this level here. I had it marked too. So for being real, this would be God, it would have to be this. That's ugly. That is ugly. Is there a 2-day that's cleaner after that ding move? No. So this one got ugly because there was something that happened here, some sort of gap down that got bought back up, which really you don't want to see the bear break of a structure like this on a gap down. So you almost have to like eliminate this. So that it becomes tough. It becomes really tough. Yeah, this one would be really tough. You'd almost have to junk it after it breaks this top here, and then you looking back here. But anyways, what I was thinking when I first glanced was that like this was the bear break, right? Let's say this was the bear break of the low. I mean, this would be the bear break here, the low of the structure. God, I mean, that's like the whole fucking move. I guess actually, technically speaking, the break of this is when you get the trend change. So you can see that we actually came down, retested it. So there was a little bit of a retest here. You have the gap down, nothing you can do. This is resistance, a support. It comes back up here, you test it. So then maybe then you have to just battle here. Goes all the way down, doesn't quite get here. Battles, fails. Now we're back here again. Most likely the scenario is going to be a daily lower high. I would need to see a monthly high or low scout. Nope. This is a monthly bear flag. Yeah, I mean, that's a monthly bear flag. Never mind. CRCL. This one is just so beat up. It's probably not a good one either. Yeah, it's just at the low. It's all-time low. I mean, you don't really want to be using that as a support. It did have good earnings though, which sank it. Must have been some sort of lack of guidance. This is knifing down. Oh my lord. Sorry about that. Just got a text. Um, so yeah, I guess we're keeping it pretty simple today. Seems like the play. Up, QQQ got to its level. Bastard. So as you can see, QQQ got going, and then Tesla did not. Nvidia is still chopping. So it was just QQQ got up to its that big level, that big level. So don't want to be forcing anything today. This level has less confluence. This level has more confluence. but I could see bulls wanting to buy this level to get up to here. Is there anything else before I let y'all go? Lyft here is kind of really in a weird spot now, giving way too much back on the daily. We talked about that, talked about that. AMD. I mean, I want to have some shorts. I just don't want to be looking fucking long the whole time, but shorting a semiconductor seems silly. And it's kind of in a smush zone. I mean, this is a monster gap up for KQQ, 2%. Expectations need to be limited here. I mean, if it's a short, it's got to be non-tech, right? Like, non-semi, something with some sort of catalyst if you think that the market's going to pull back. But even if the market pulls back, you need like, you literally need, I mean, I guess you would expect a decent pullback on the hourly, but you have to expect an hourly higher low though. I mean, you could expect a decent pullback on the hourly, but a patient bear is going to be looking for a decent pullback and then looking to short the lower high. And a really patient one is going to wait for the trend change, which is nuts. But this stock looks like it wants to go. Finance, fuck that. BKR really having a tough time with this level here. It really is starting to look like, I mean, am I crazy to think this? I mean, it's not completely even, but it's starting to have these, it kind of reset itself. So this might have been earnings, and then it kind of reset itself here, and it's kind of giving me this like this kind of vibe here. And there's three ways to play this trade. The first one is the most aggressive, which is playing off of this trend line. It's kind of like a rising wedge type of thing. Most aggressive bull break of this level here, or waiting for the bull break. Now, on my hands, because I can't get in on this trade, I can't get in here, and I'd have to wait for the break of this level right here. And then you would want to see this is the highest close with a wick. And then you had this significant pullback, you even had a lower high, lower low. And this was a big level too. This makes sense. And that's why I have it here. It has a lower high, lower low, makes it a big level. There's your close, there's your big pullback. This is your resistance. This one actually kind of got up there, but this is the play. BKR. I actually like this one, but I gotta put it up top here so I don't forget about it. So I'm gonna make an alarm right before it hits, just because I wanted to buy the break. I guess you would expect it to go there, but you could also do the double up. I expect it to go there, which is probably not much. It's not even a percent. Ugh. Anyways, okay. Well, that's gonna do it. Remember, we're looking for, and we'll look at QQQ real fast. Actually, we'll look at Nasdaq too. It might be a little bit cleaner. Nasdaq has this little lower high here, and so does SPY. This little lower high here, but I mean, with this clear lower low, I don't think that that matters much. So we'll just stick to QQQ. Ah, screw it. I don't have as many drawings on here. Daily lower low. Anything, in my opinion, below 25,750 is going to be a daily lower high. Now, again, best time to look for daily lower highs is when you have, first of all, confluence, you have a golden pocket, you have a moving average, and you are approaching hourly overbought conditions again. So this is an area of interest just from these levels. And also you can make a play where, like, listen, they tried to save the day here. They tried to set the daily high or low. I'm gonna get rid of these red lines. I don't know what they're from. But this is a level here. We already discussed why. This was a level where bears were like, nah, you guys can stay put. Fuck, man. Why can't I make this bigger? There we go. Because this was like daily high, save, daily high or low set. Nah, sorry, back down. So there is like a little bit of a battle that's going to happen here. So you have all of this going on here where I'm not saying that we're going to reverse here. I'm saying that it's likely that we're going to see some sort of struggle here as a bull. Now, with that being said, if the market just blasts right through this level here, then that's a very strong sign. And we're just going to probably rocket ship right up to the highs here. If they do find struggle here, which is possible, I think the 4 hour is probably going to be a little bit better here as this big old fucking cup and handle is trying to play out. Let me see if the 8 hour will give me. Okay, I like the way the 8 hour looks a little bit. I don't really like doing this, but I know that some traders do just to kind of give us clarity. But straight up to this level of interest, again, most likely scenario is going to be a daily, some sort of higher low off of this level. If it's a 4 hour, 8 hour, 1 hour, whatever, this one is just clarity for me. Where is this gonna stop? I have no idea. It could be at the 50-day back test. It could be at some levels that I don't personally see. But again, then this ends up looking like this really big old 4 hour or 8 hour, sorry, head and shoulders to the upside here. And that could end up having us look back at all-time highs again. Um, as you could say, just taking this measured move, it would put us right back at a battle up against this guy. So that makes sense to me. I don't know why um, there would be so much intrigue into just continuing this move up besides leaving retail in the fucking dust, which is obviously something that's possible. Um, but I don't know how much interest is still in this because once again we do have a daily downtrend. So as you can see right now, we're up against EMA. There's a golden pocket confluence. There's a slight resistance level, and we are approaching room though. So 2 out of 3, sorry, 3 out of 4, because I like to use price structure as one. So we have structure of price one, we have an EMA or moving average two, we have a fib level, which is the golden pocket, one of the three important ones. Three, the only thing we're missing is over RSI being extended. So 3 out of the 4 that I use. When you hit all four, it's a home run. When you hit three, it's still a pretty goddamn big sign. The only issue I'm having, again, is that it's NVIDIA earnings. It's the biggest stock on the market, and the expectations were so freaking high, and it beat it anyways. So if the strongest stock, the most expensive stock, the biggest stock has so much hype and it beats the hype, then why would you be worried about the market going down? Right? That's a good question. So it's this battle that I'm having right now. Anyways, good luck. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a good one. Peace.